What is up, coders? Today is the start of a brand new series, and in this series we're going to be covering Sprite Flight, the Unity Learn tutorial. So let me show you guys what Sprite Flight is first. So in Sprite Flight, as you guys can see, we fly a little triangle ship, and we have to dodge all these obstacles. It's kind of like asteroids. I think it's really fun. It's in essence asteroids without, hold on here. Oh, I'm sorry, get Ooh, damn! Sorry. So Sprite Flight is in essence asteroids, but a little bit different. As you can see, we just dodge obstacles. We have stars in the background. We have a spaceship. There's audio. There's particle effects. It's a really fun game, but it's all in Unity Learn. And in this series, let's see if I can die here real quick. Boom! And in this series, I'm going to be covering the Unity tutorial instructions. Now, throughout this series, I'm not going to go back and forth. And if you guys have used Unity Learn before, read all these instructions with you guys. I'm just going to do it. Today is going to be the start of the video where we set up our game world 1, and then 2 we're going to be making the obstacle prefab. So no actual coding today, just those certain steps. So it's going to be really fun, really easy today. But I hope you stay for the whole series because again, it is a really fun game and you learn a lot of Unity throughout it. So let us begin. Now that we've previewed the final game, it's time to start building it ourselves. So our first step is we're going to open up a new Unity project. So to do that, let's open up Unity Hub. Once Unity Hub is open, we're going to create a new project. So we'll click New. Make sure you have your correct editor version. Ideally, you don't want one with a security alert. If you have a warning, it's okay. But if not, download the newest version. I'm going to be using 6000.3.12 F1. That's my personal favorite. So we're going to be selecting the Universal 2D template. We're going to name our project Sprite. Oh, I can't spell. Wow. Sprite Flight. Then underscore your last name. My last name is Hope, so we'll do that. I already have a project, so I'm just going to call this one Sprite Flight lesson underscore Hope. And then save it wherever you like. Once you have Universal 2D selected, you have your project name. We're going to click Create Project. Once we do that, we're just going to wait for our project to boot up, and then we'll come right back. For your guys' satisfaction, this is going to be the longest part of this tutorial, I promise you. This will be time-lapsed, but this is taking a lot longer than... Oh my goodness! The second I start speaking, my computer's slow. Now that we're in our Unity project, I believe your guys' layout may look a little different from mine. And what I mean by layout is where all of our little Unity tabs are located. I believe you guys should start with the default layout, so it should look like this. As you can see, I put my hand up here. I had like a blue box here. That's because I have a custom layout. As you can see here, this is how I like using Unity, but we'll stick with default. And I want you guys to select one that you like. So there's 4x4 split. This one's weird. I don't like it. There's 2x3, which is very, very popular for most people. Tall layout, and then and then a wide layout. So I want you guys to go through the different layouts and pick one that you like. I personally like this one. And the way I saved it is you're gonna pick whatever layout you want, edit it around if you want to move tabs wherever you like them. Click back here at the layout section. Click on save layout. Name it whatever you like. Test layout. And then create it. And then as you can see, it's one of your layout options. Again, I'm going to stick with my personal layout. It's just what I like. Our next step is going to be organizing our projects folder. So here it is down here. What I want you guys to do is select these three files. The default volume, input system, and universal render pipeline. Select all three. What I do is I click on one of them, hold shift, and then click on the last one. You could also just hold control and click them all separately, but this way is easier for me. And drag and drop those three files into the settings folder. From there, we're going to open up our settings folder, right click, we're going to create a new scene. And call that scene main game. Enter. And then double click to open it. And as you can see here at the top left, our scene name changed. Before it said sample scene. Now it's main game. After you've done that, delete your sample scene. Now that we have everything set up, it's time to start building our game world. So we're going to start by right clicking in the hierarchy. I want you guys to go to 2D object, sprites, and then hexagon flat top. That's gonna give us our hexagon shape. I'm zooming in. Oh, my mouse. I'm zooming in with the scroll wheel. Sorry, that's kept hitting the wrong things. So I want you guys to zoom in. As you can see, it's a hexagon shape. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 6 sides. But we're just gonna create our shape. I want you guys to rename our hexagon flat top up here in the inspector. We're gonna call it obstacle. As you could see, I'm a dumb ass, and we're going to change this to be spelled obstacle correctly. OBSTACLE. Obstacle. We're then going to reset its position. Now, the easiest way to reset the position is by clicking on the 3 little dots right here in the inspector and then click reset. Lots of people, like if it's at a random position, they'll be like 0, 0, 0. I just like clicking reset. It's the easiest thing. Now for you guys, this is optional. I want to do it because I think it's really fun, but I'm also going to change the color of my obstacle. So the way you can do that is by going to your inspector, and underneath Sprite Renderer, you'll see an option called color. You'll click on the white, and then you have all these different options. So I'm going to change mine to something a little bit prettier. So right now, the area in the viewpoint is a little bit too small. So in this next step, we're going to adjust our orthographic size of the camera and zoom it in just a little bit. And if you want, you can also change the background color. So this is the fun part. We're going to click on our main camera. We're going to go to orthographic, change the size to 7.5. As you can see here, it's more zoomed out and makes the game a little bit more fun to play. It also gives us a lot more room to work with. And then to change the color, we're going to go down in the camera component. Underneath background type, we're going to click on skybox and select solid color. From there, just like how we did for the obstacle, we're going to click the color blue and change it to whatever you like. Now it's time to build our screen border. So in the hierarchy, I want you guys to right click again. We're going to go to 2D objects, sprites, and then we're going to click on square. There's a white square. We're going to rename our square to border underscore bottom. After we call it border bottom, as you can assume, we're going to click and hold our square and drag them down beneath this white line. So as you guys see, this white line here is actually our camera viewpoint. So look here in my game view, and I'm gonna hold this cube around the border, this white line, and you could see that it's there the whole time. Now, some of you may not have this white line. That is because you have this gizmos unselected. So at the top right, just in case you don't have a white line like this, click on this 3D sphere, and then all your gizmos come back. So because this is our border bottom cube, we're going to put him down here, and using these blue little dots, I'm going to click and drag it so it covers the bottom, as you can see here in the game view. Now for our next step, we're going to put the border all around our camera view. So either right click your border bottom in the hierarchy and click duplicate, or click on one of them and hit Control D and make 3 more borders. So you'll see border bottom, then border bottom 1, 2, and 3. Once you have those 3, orient them around the camera. Once you've orientated them, also rename your borders. So this one will be border left, top, and right. Now that we have our borders, we're going to lock our aspect ratio in the game. So click on your game view at the top, click on free aspect, and change it to 16:9. So all this does is it ensures that your game fits in any screen size. So everyone has different types of screens. And if it's free aspect, as you guys can see, it actually stretches what you have towards anyone's game. So we do 16:9. So the game stays the same aspect ratio no matter how big the screen is. So if you're playing on a phone or a TV, every component that you have is the same across all platforms. Once we've selected that, let's go back to our scene view, and you'll see that our cubes are a little bit iffy, our borders. So just go ahead and fix them. Again, make sure they're around the white border that we have for our camera. Our final step for setup is to organize our hierarchy. So what I want you guys to do, and this is how you organize all of your game objects in Unity, is right click in the hierarchy once more and create empty. I want you to reset the position of the empty game object, and we're going to call this one, I'm going to do 3 $, and then in all caps, borders. and then 3 more equal signs. From there, I'm going to select all of our borders and click and hold them above this borders game object. As you can see, it highlights gray. When we let go, all of our borders are underneath this game object. So it in essence act like a little tab folder in our hierarchy, just for organization. We'll actually end up using this major game object later throughout this tutorial. That is it for setting up our game scene. One more step I want you guys to try is just change the colors up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this game a little bit more fun and change my border colors to something more pleasing. So I'll do it like red. Change your background a little bit more. And boom. And there you have it, guys. Our game scene is now set up. The next part of our tutorial is to make our obstacle prefab start interacting with the rest of our scene. What I want you guys to do right now is hit play mode in your Unity scene. When you hit play mode, as you can see, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Our sprite can't move because there's nothing attached to it. So what I want you guys to do is add gravity on our obstacle. And the way we do that in Unity is by adding a component called the rigid body. The way to add the rigid body to the obstacle is we're going to select our obstacle, go to the inspector and click on add component. From there, you're going to type out rigid body. As you can already see, it pops up. Which one do we pick? So let's think for a little bit. Are we going to use the rigid body or the rigid body 2D? What type of game are we making? I'll let you guys think. If you said rigid body, you're a fucking moron. Rigid body 2D is our selection. Now that the rigid body 2D is on our game object, we're going to click play. And he falls right through the ground because we don't have fucking colliders. We don't have colliders. So we got to add our collider component. So what I want you guys to do first is click on all of our borders. From there, add component, and we're going to add, because we have a rectangle or square shape, we're going to add a box collider. Same thing. It's the box collider 2D. Cool. And then of course you also need a collider on your obstacle. So we're going to click on add component, but because our obstacle isn't a square, we're not going to use a box collider. We're going to use what we call a polygon collider 2D because it is a polygon. Duh. Now when we hit play, our obstacle is actually going to collide with the environment, as you can see. Boom! It works. Get a little boogie going on. Oh. One thing though, we want our obstacle to bounce with the environment around like a ball. So we need to add what we call a physics material in Unity. So what I want you guys to do is go to your project tab, right click, create a new folder, and call this folder materials with a capital M. We're going to then double click our folder, right click inside of it. We're going to go to create 2D physics material 2D. Now that we have our physics material created, we're going to call this one bounce. Bounce, like you like that. Bounce. Once we call it bounce, we're going to go into our inspector, change that bounciness level to, we'll change it to 2, and we'll keep the friction the same. We're going to then click on our obstacle. We're going to drag and drop our bounce into our rigid body material. You can also do that to the collider. One of them, doesn't matter which one, if you want to do both. We're going to click play again. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that was too much. So as you can see, there was too much bounce in it. So we're going to go back to our bounce, change our bounciness level to 1.2 and click play again. I like that bounce a little bit more, so we're going to keep it like that for now. Oh, that might be too strong. Too strong, never mind. I'm just joshing around. 1.1. I'll keep it there. I don't want to test it. For some fun, I want you guys to click on your obstacle again, and we're going to select the transform tool. Click on this blue circle and rotate him a little bit. And then when we hit play again, you're going to see that it actually bounces across the entire screen like this. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Now that our obstacle behaves the way we want it to, we're going to turn it into a prefab. Now you may ask yourself, Marcos, what is a prefab? Is it what I think it is? No, it is not. It is a reusable asset that stores all of the components, your settings, the hierarchy placement of the specific game object. And once you've made a prefab, you can drag and drop out as many copies as you like, and any changes you make to one of them will update all of them. So it's very useful when it comes to having multiple of the same game object, so you don't have to code the same thing over and over and over and over again. So to do that, we're going to go back to our assets folder. We're going to create another folder, and we're going to call it capital P, fabs. And then we're going to click and hold, drag and drop our obstacle into the prefabs folder. And as you can see, the item turns blue. If it's blue, that's how you know it's a prefab. I'm then going to decorate my scene with a couple more of them. So as you see, I can just drag and drop them from this folder. And we're going to add a couple of them out there. I'll keep them all rotated too. Hit play, and you see a bunch of balls bouncing. Pause. Yo! And same thing, now that we have all of our balls, or our obstacles in our hierarchy, we're going to right click, create an empty 3 equal signs, call it obstacles, and then put all your obstacles inside of that game object. So there's one more thing I want to try with you guys. It's not required from the tutorial. It just bothers me because I'm thinking about it out loud. So when I hit play, there's a buffer. It reloads the domain, it runs a bunch of like stuff, it imports assets, and then it plays. That takes too long. It's honestly, while recording this video, it's pissing me off. So the way we can fix that, because I know it's happening on your guys' end as well, is we're going to go to File. I'm lying. We're going to go to Edit. We're going to go to Project Settings. We're then going to click on Editor. And we're going to scroll down until we see, where is it? Here it is. Enter Play Mode Settings. It says Reload Domain and Scene. Just click to do not reload domain and scene. Control S to save. Close the X, and when you hit play, it's instant. So the one thing about this, it's only good for lower end projects because it doesn't really have to render anything. If you have a massive project like Call of Duty, you want to have that setting enabled because you want it to load in everything before you get into play mode. With this, it doesn't matter. It's a small game. So keep it at that setting, just so it's a lot faster of going back and forth between play mode and not play mode. Now everybody, give yourselves a round of applause. That completes this episode of the tutorial. As you can see, when we hit play, our balls bounce, pause. Whoa. There's colors, there's borders, collision, physics. Our scene is now set up. So I want you guys to now go to File, click Save, or hit Control S on your keyboard. We're going to close out of Unity. And again, that completes our tutorial. In the next episode, we're going to make the obstacles actually float like actual asteroids in space. And then we're going to create a player that's going to steer through, or we can actually fly and dodge these obstacles. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye.